right, so tell us right now how the situation is for you guys there in Thailand. I have some friends over there. They said it's really, really hot, and we've been trying to compare which is hotter, the Philippines or Thailand. But how is the current situation shaping up over there?
Yes, I think it's just really kind of hitting the ground in terms of the climate change impact because as an Asian, I think we are very familiar with the hot weather, right? I think summer hot is no surprise to us, but I think it's becoming really unbearable hot this summer. And I think we have experienced that across the region. I heard that in Philippines, you have to close down some of the school. I think in Myanmar is doing the same thing. And in Thailand, like even though we are so used to with the hot weather, but this year it's just getting unbearable and become a health hazard as well for people who be outside. So it's become very dangerous for people have to work who still have to work outdoor at this time of year.
Did you
And I think
observe?
it's
Yeah.
all new for us. I think we have to get used to this new normal, although the peak, the hottest seem to pass. We also get some rain like yesterday for the first time. So that's helped bring temperature down a little bit. But I think the pattern overall, because we're just coming from the hottest year on the record, 2023, right? But this year is set to be the hottest year on the record. So I think we have to really getting to be prepared for the new normal. And I think it's really something that is not in the far future anymore about the pattern of the weather that become uninhabitable to some region.
Okay, Dr. Patch, we've been talking to some scientists and they've been telling us that we actually predicted this, that temperatures will get hotter and hotter every year. What are you seeing in the data that led you to say that the extreme heat is causing some parts of the world to become uninhabitable and that we're headed there? Is there something, is there an outlier that you see, something more extreme that that is beyond just seeing temperatures rise every year?
Yep. I think the trajectory is very clear. So we are putting up the uncharted territory in terms of the new average temperature. But last year and this year, because we are in the El Nino year, so it's pretty much double effect in terms of bringing down the temperature become very extreme. So we experienced this heat wave across the region. But globally, also this year is only the fourth time that the NOAA, the scientific body of the U.S., has declared is the fourth global coral bleaching since we have the record. And I don't know about in the Philippines, but in Thailand also we have seen the news in Australia that the Great Barrier Reef again suffer mass coral bleaching. Over 75% of the reef already bleached in the Great Barrier Reef. And in Thailand, more than half of the coral reef now experiencing bleaching. It's not the end yet, although we hopeful that I think the rain that start to set in the country will help bring the temperature down. But undoubtedly, I think many coral reef already suffer quite a great damage from this year hot weather.
So we're seeing the impacts of climate change in real time. The question is, are any of these impact damages still reversible at this point? What can we do?
I think that's a big question, but we don't have any option because by doing nothing, I think it will just make the problem worse. I think it just really emphasized on climate action that all the government said that it's urgent. We need to do something. I think the time to act is now because the impact is already here. It's not something in the distant future that we are talking about. And I think more and more, I think Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, some of the top most vulnerable country from climate change is set in the region. So I think Southeast Asia as a community, we have a lot to lose. So I think it really have to bring home in terms of the climate action and also negotiation about the loss and damage as well. But closer to our action, I think what we can do is that I think with the heat that we are experiencing, I think it's just emphasizing the importance of nature-based solution. How do we use this kind of crisis into opportunity about saving all the nature that we still have left in our environment? Because when the extreme heat happen, you can compare to the area that still have some green area, the park is actually buffer quite a lot of heat. Singapore, for example, has a great green space. I think it help buffer people from the impact of extreme heat. So in many countries in Southeast Asia don't have the luxury like Singapore. We don't have a great green area. But I think it is just something that we can do now as a buffer, as a mitigation, and also adaptation measure for people living in the city.
All right, I was watching your video, Dr. Petch, and I saw that you had a heat map of a globe. There was like an image of the world, and you put like red spots where in places where it's for lack of a better word, it's a hot spot, right, for all this climate change and for all the damage and destruction. When you say uninhabitable, a pattern of becoming more and more uninhabitable, what exactly does that mean? Does that just mean it's really, really hot? Does it mean temperamental weather or unpredictable weather? What exactly do you mean by uninhabitable?
I use that phrase, based on the climate change scenario, because the climate model already predict that this year going to set the new record in terms of the hot temperature. But globally, they also predict that in Southeast Asia in particular is a hotspot for this year because of the El Nino impact, part of South Asia and also part of the Caribbean. So it means that this year we are particularly vulnerable. But in the region, in country, I think, we can observe that some particular region suffer from severe drought year after year. So the area that used to be agricultural land maybe not gonna be viable for farming anymore in the future. So this is something that happening right now. And I think in the city have even another impact like the heat island effect as well as the infrastructure in the city absorbing more heat. So we will start to rely more and more on air conditioning. And I think that also leave the problem with the marginalized group of people, vulnerable group of people who might not have access to air conditioning as a way to mitigate the heat. So I think some part of the city, some part of the region might not be suitable for living anymore. The sound of it may be extreme, but I think the glimpse of what future look like, I think warn us that, this kind of phrase, the uninhabitable earth pattern is not something in the far future anymore.
Yeah, all right.
Because our region get used to the hot weather. Now it's become quite unbearable. I never felt that hot like in the Middle East. I've been to the Middle East and you can feel that it's really warm. You like walking in the oven. And although in Southeast Asia we are hot, but we never get to that hot. But now because of the relative humidity as well, making our hot weather become quite unbearable now and become quite dangerous as well.